Alright, so the real reason why Dabi is better than Shouto is that Dabi actually cares. He actually cares, guys. Shouto, half of the time in this entire series, just has these mellow looks. He looks completely turned off, doesn't look like he cares about left or right, doesn't look like he cares about what he's doing. And it's the most off-putting trait of any of the characters in the series. This is someone with a lot of potential, but he just doesn't end up using it. Why? Because he doesn't look like he cares. He doesn't look like he gives a single about just being there and being a character. Now, this is by design, but let's get to it. If you have not watched My Hero Academia up to Season 6, Episode 13, I would suggest turning the video off now. This is for anime viewers mainly, so if you've caught up with the manga, great for you. But Season 6, Episode 13, if you're not there, turn this thing off, go catch up with the anime, then come back. Otherwise, you're gonna get spoiled. Alright, so basically Shouto and Dabi have been revealed to be brothers. So Endeavor's the father and he creates this very interesting dynamic between the two characters. Now why I prefer Dabi to Shouto is very, very simple. It's that Dabi actually cares, is invested. He's got some ambition to him. He's got something that he wants to do and something that he wants to achieve in life. He's got goals and he will hit those goals. His actions translate to something tangible. When we look at someone like Shouto, we see a character who's very young, who's very meek, and who is being swayed by not only the actions of his father, but is also being swayed by the actions of the main character, the protagonist, Midoriya. Midoriya is actually the person who got Todoroki to use his flame quirk, otherwise he wouldn't be using it. Which is an appalling decision because the decision wasn't made off of his own strength and own energy and own conviction. He needed to be convinced that this was the right thing to do. Sure, he's the one who chose to do it at the end of the day, but it was the most obvious conclusion anyway. Shouto comes off as a very weak character to me simply because I look at him and I feel like he has so much potential. He actually reminds me of Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. Gohan is a character with a lot of potential, basically the strongest character in the cast by far, but he can never really tap into it and hone it because he's too caught up in his feelings and he's too caught up in not training and not trying to be the thing. Characters like Dabi are about giving you the smoke. Why I also like Dabi is that he is like his father. A lot of people tend to look at Shouto Todoroki as this brooding, dark character who doesn't really care about life or whatever, and he's just trying to be an anarchist kind of character. He cares a lot. So a good tell that Dabi cares is that he films himself and he actually makes a video and he puts it out to the world, telling his story, telling how he sees Endeavor as a villain, and telling how the hero system is all corrupt. Like these heroes you look up to and you glorify, they're not the real thing. They all bad. They sour. The hero system is rotten from the core. This is something he got from Hero Killer Stain as well. Hero Killer Stain allowed this to happen. So this philosophy that Dabi kind of has is something that he wants to preach to the world. So he wants to be seen. He's like Endeavor. Endeavor's main thing is Endeavor wanted to be the top hero. He wanted to be seen. He wanted that glory and that limelight. To endeavor to all might. To try to be mighty. But to never actually get there. That's kind of the story of Endeavor. Well, he does actually get there. But he doesn't get there off the back of his own strength. He gets there because All Might's just not around anymore. I like characters like Dabi and Endeavor because they have a win through actions mentality. These are not characters who talk a lot. These are characters who do a lot and then talk later. And that's another parallel that we see between the father and the son. Something that makes them very similar, but you don't recognize it until you actually look for it and you see it. I believe Horikoshi's writing is brilliant because he's dealing with such a huge cast of characters, and to reel them in and to kind of make all of these parallels align in such a beautiful way takes a very good writer. Now, Shouto is also written really well because he's supposed to be the Gohan of the series. I believe there will be a time where he has to face up to Dabi instead of doing what he did in this episode. This is absolutely ridiculous. So instead of actually fighting Dabi and taking on the challenge to take on his older brother, he's looking at his dad still. He's like, Endeavor, do something. And that's never going to work. That's never going to get him to the level that he needs to be at to compete and to be a professional hero. What kind of professional hero is looking over his shoulder like, oh, I can't save people? This very timid response to learning that his brother is actually Dabi or Shouto Todoroki by extension is terrible for the character Shouto. I'm not gonna lie, I expected him to do more. I expected him to be able to deal with Dabi, but it became quite clear that if Dabi was gonna use that prominence burn, Like if Best Genius didn't come through and save the day, when he did, that burn was finna wreck all of those heroes there. All of those pro heroes were going down because Todoroki is not yet at the level. Shouto Todoroki. Enji and Toya, they got the smoke. Enji and Toya have the smoke. I don't know about this kid over here, but these two are with the shit. They'll light you up. Shouto is supposed to be winning this based on his abilities, right? His abilities, he has ice, he has an ice wall, and he has flame as well. And he is facing a pure flame quirk. Shouto actually has a really easy fight. You just throw the fight out using ice and by getting away from Dabi, and most of the time you win a very long drawn out fight against Dabi. But the problem is, the way Shouto is, he'd probably get lit up in the first 20 seconds. It wouldn't even be a long thing. Now, if you don't believe what I'm saying about these two characters and you still feel like you are a Shouto Todoroki fanboy over Dabi, cool, right? I just want to challenge you to do one thing with your life. Try living your life 1 week like Shouto, going through life like all meek and all like emo, half hot, half cold, lukewarm approach to life. That's actually fitting. His superhero name, half hot, half cold, just means that he's lukewarm. Doesn't really have anything to it. So you can go through life with that lukewarm approach, or you can just be hot. Like when people hear your name, they know you got a rep. The one thing about Dabi is, when he shows up, he's dangerous. People know what he's about. You can go through life living with passion, ambition, with drive. That's what Dabi has. Those are the qualities associated with that character. He's got a vision, he's got a path, he knows what he wants to do, he's got points to prove to the world and to his father Endeavor, and he's going to do them. He's resolved. So live your life for 1 week like one, live your life for another week like the other, and then tell me how you feel about it afterwards. Come back to this video and come tell me, oh, well, I felt better as this character or that character. Chances are you're gonna side with me after you you decided to do that. Yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say pretty much that Dabi is better than Shouto Todoroki, and I found a lot of ways to say it. Now, obviously, over the duration of the series, my opinion will change. As Horikoshi adds more flesh to Shouto's character, I will eventually probably end up on Shouto's side because he will be more developed, he would have learned a few things, and he'll finally accept himself, and he'll use the power, which is pretty much one of the strongest quirks in the series, by the way. That half hot, half cold quirk is very, very strong. It's not to be underestimated. So hopefully we'll get a point where I switch over and I'm making a video saying, wow, Shouto has finally redeemed himself, and that's awesome. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, comment if you have an opinion. Peace.